Since today is not a good makeup day for me, I thought we would talk about books. So I wanted to talk to you about the books I've read in December, and I'm super late with that, and I know it, but I still wanted to show you these books. And usually January is just full of video ideas and then you never get around to doing all that. So yeah, it's really late, I'm sorry. So, I have two books to show you today. Didn't read a whole ton, but you know that I am a slow reader, so it's okay. The first one I wanted to show you is this one. This is by Minette Walters, and the German title is Der Schatten des Chamäleons. The English title, The Chameleon's Shadow. I hope I pronounced that right. So this book is kind of a thriller, like a psycho thriller. It's not really thrillery, I have to say, but it's very well written and very interesting. So the story is about Charles Ackland, and he's in the army and he gets injured very badly, and all of his comrades die. So this is in, I don't even know which kind of war that was, but some kind of Arab country war thing, I guess. So this takes place in like 2006. Don't care. So he gets injured, all his comrades die, and he comes back to the hospital and he has to be taken care of. His brain was injured as well, and there is a psychologist and he is supposed to watch him and see whether he can be basically released from the hospital, and they're not sure whether he is crazy or whether everything is fine with him, because weird things are happening around him. So they decide to release him, and he gets out of the hospital and he goes back to where he lived before, kind of, and then he gets into a lot of trouble, and there's a lot of mysterious things happening, and a lot of old men that were in the army die, and everyone thinks that he did it, but you see it kind of from his point of view, and he himself isn't really sure whether he did it or not. So that's kind of the story. I thought the beginning of this book was very strong. It drew me in a second and I was really into it, but then the ending wasn't as good. And that is something that I rarely find with books. Usually I'm bored about 150 pages of the book, and then it starts to kind of get faster and more interesting. But this one totally didn't, because I feel like his character and his story was so interesting, and that was a huge part in the beginning of the book. But then, yeah, I don't know, all this kind of who did it thing, it just didn't do it for me. It was very, I don't know, just a little bit weird at the ending, I would say. So if you're into thrillers, more criminal stories, I think this one is very interesting. It starts off really good. So you should definitely check it out, but don't expect a thriller that you can't put down because you're just, so thrilled. It's more interesting to read about. The character is very well developed, I think, and very interesting, and just the writing style is really nice, so you get into it quickly. So that's what I wanted to say about this book. Now let's get to the second book. It's this one. This is by Jonathan Franzen, and the German title is Freiheit. The English title should be Freedom. Yes. This is from 2010, so it's kind of a newer book, which is rare for me. When I saw the cover, I thought this would be kind of a thriller again, and also what it says on the back kind of sounds more like a mystery and a little bit thrilling. But it's actually not. It's totally not. This book takes a lot of time, so that's the reason why I didn't read more. It has a lot of pages. It's around 750 pages, and it definitely takes a lot of time to read it. It is very, very well written, and the characters feel so real, and you basically follow a family for a very long period of time, so about, I would say, 20, 30 years maybe. So this is about Patty and Walter. They meet at college and then they marry, get children, and then, you know, it's just all about that kind of family life, but a lot of stuff goes wrong in their lives, so it's not like a nice fluffy read. It's kind of dark at some points, and it's very, very real. So if you're into, you know, the dream of having the perfect marriage and everything, this is probably not the right book for you. But if you want to see it realistically, this is very interesting. And even more because I was in a similar situation, and I see where, I don't know, I just had the feeling that I was going in the same direction, but I didn't take it so far as Patty did, and I'm very lucky, I guess. So yeah, it's mostly about Patty. She's a very complex character. She has gone through a lot. She has a lot of psychological issues, and she's definitely not the perfect mom. But she still tries to be, because she has that issue with her own mother, which was basically never there for her and always put her sisters over her. So yeah, this book is mostly about her, but also about the other characters in the family, like Walter, her husband, and then her son. I don't remember what his name is. And then there's this whole other bit about Richard, which was the best friend of Walter in college, and actually Patty always wanted to date Richard and not Walter, and that just didn't work out, and then she kind of decided to take Walter because, you know, he was there. So he comes back at the weirdest points in the story and just messes up everything even more in this family. And I don't know, this book was just so interesting to read, but you definitely need a lot of time, because on one page so much stuff happens and you just have to put it down every once in a while to process what just happened. So I think it's very interesting if you're into slower books and books that are based around characters a lot, though there's not a lot of stuff going on like action-wise, but there's a lot of stuff going on within the characters and between the characters. So if you're into stuff like that, this book is definitely recommended. And I really enjoyed it, even though it took me a long time to read it. But it's definitely different from the stuff I usually read. And it was very refreshing. It took me by surprise because, as I said, the book looks like a thriller, but it's actually not. And it's just very, very interesting, and I think there's something for everyone in this book. Like, there's so many different themes, like rape is part of the story. Then there's also kind of the whole wanting to save the environment, but not sure what to, I don't know how far to go, basically. Like, Walter has a plan how to save the environment, but he has to make deals with these huge companies that will completely destroy other areas so he can save certain areas. So he deals with a lot of that, and he's totally not happy with the results. And then his son actually is into the whole war industry, where he's supposed to find certain things for the war industry, but they're just rubbish, and they still say, you know, just deliver and we will give you the money, and don't care about what happens. But he feels the responsibility because all the soldiers actually just get this crap, and he knows that they will not be able to do their job with this crap, and they risk their lives. And there's just so much to this story, like so many themes and interesting things. So I definitely think if you're interested in society, you should definitely read this book. So enough blabbing on that. So we will see what January brings. The video will be up soon, I guess. And I really hope you enjoyed this. Have a lovely day, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Bye!